draw your bow to anchor. Are you one of these bottom-up shooters, or maybe you're like me, you're a top-down shooter, or even maybe you're like that guy who brings his bow up, points right at his target, draws back to anchor, and lets go? Well, you know what? Today we're going to be talking about these three methods and more about your shot sequence in traditional archery shooting. Let's get started. Hey, Joe McLean here from CatholicHack.com, where I live my life for God and I'm passionate about traditional archery. I'm glad to be with you again this week. And we have a great comment from Gavin CZ, who asked about this very question. So we're going to be diving into this question in about 30 seconds from now. But if you're new here, I would really love for you to be a part of our community. Would you consider hitting that subscribe button and possibly even that bell notification icon so that you get notified of the very next video? We put out videos on traditional archery every single Thursday, but sometimes 2 or 3 videos a week on traditional archery, shooting and techniques, tips, tricks, how-tos, product videos, even hunting related to traditional archery. And so if that interests you, hit the subscribe and become a part of our community. Thank you in advance. Well, Gavin CZ sent this question and this comment in today, as a matter of fact, so it was pretty timely because I've been thinking about this very question for a while now. And that is, Gavin asks, hey, I see a lot of YouTube shooters coming from the top down when they're coming to their anchor. So they rise above their head and then they come to anchor. So thank you, Gavin, for that feedback. I'm grateful for your question, and we're going to dive into that right now. Yeah, as you've noticed, I do, in my shot sequence, rise above my head and then come down. I settle into my target and then come to anchor at the same time. Now, I do that for a couple of reasons. I prefer a push-pull technique when drawing my bow. It just sort of, it divvies up the load responsibility to both arms. Instead of putting all of the weight onto one arm, which could mean I could risk an injury to my shoulder, and that wouldn't be good for me. So I like a push-pull technique, and I really like the way that rising above my head and coming down to target and anchor feels to me. It feels very natural. That's the upside. The downside of my technique is there is a window when I'm rising above my head where my target, my impact point, is completely blocked and I can't see it, which means that as my bow arm comes down and settles in, I have a very short period of time to reacquire that pinpoint spot that I want to hit. That could be very bad. That could be very detrimental to trying to get your arrows to go where they want to go. Now, I do believe you can overcome that with persistence and patience and practice and just working hard at it. You can learn to shoot with that technique. I mean, the Japanese shoot a very similar technique and with great success. So I do believe you can overcome it, but it is honestly a challenge. Now, as you mentioned, Gavin, as many other shooters do, they come from the bottom up. I want to say Jim Grizzly Kent shoots this way. And I want to also say that Howard Hill shot this way. And there's probably a ton of fantastic archers that come from the bottom up. So as they're raising their bow arm, they're actually pulling to anchor at the same time so that when they get to target, they are at their anchor. Fred Bear, he might have been a shooter just like this. With great success, there's so many guys that are shooting this way. And I think one of the advantages of that particular technique is that you can see, you got a clear shot window, you can see your impact point the entire sequence, so you're not blocking your vision in any way. And that can be super helpful, especially to instinctive shooters. So you may, if you've never shot that way, you may consider trying it and just seeing if it works. Now, I'll say this, when I shoot that way, I think it lends itself to snap shooting. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but that's how it feels to me. It also feels that when I'm shooting that way, that I'm rushing my sequence. I just feel like I'm rushing, and I don't like that feeling of rushing. Now, maybe it's because I don't shoot it that way very often that I feel that way, so maybe if I spent more time in that particular style, I would feel different. But just giving you my 2 cents, I feel like that's a downside, a negative of that particular style, that rush feeling. I kind of want to feel more confident in my shot cycle. Now, there's a third technique that I see a lot of shooters. Gregory Richards is an example of this, where they come up straight. It's like they bring their bow arm up, they're pointing with their arrow right to that impact point, then they draw, and then they come to anchor and release. Again, Jimmy Blackman, I think, is yet another great archer who shoots with this technique and has wonderful success at it. There's so many. So I'm not sure ultimately it matters either way what technique you particularly use. I think what really matters is, are you doing the same mechanical motion every single time? Or do you lack in the consistency? Because I think that's the biggest thing of all. You can pick any style you want. You can come up with any amount of hodgepodge you'd like. It depends on whether or not you're consistent as to whether or not you're going to be successful with that style. So whatever style you do, pick a style that's going to work for you, for your body type, for your particular style of shooting, instinctive snap shooting, or whatever method you're using. Pick a technique for your shot sequence that's going to feel comfortable, natural, and be very repeatable. That is super important. Again, comfortable, natural, and super repeatable. If you can get to that, you're going to find great success no matter the style that you choose when you're shooting your bow in your shot sequence. Hopefully that makes sense. What do you do? How do you shoot your bow? I would love for you to leave a comment below with the technique and the style that you're using in your shot sequence, and maybe we'll all learn something today. Maybe we'll just say, hey, I want to try that. And I do recommend that you do try the various styles, because you never know what you may find out about yourself. You may never know what you may find out about someone else's shot sequence that you may love or even possibly hate. But unless you try that, you're never going to know, right? So again, comment below with your tips, your techniques, your styles, so that we can all learn together, because we grow together as archers when we help each other out and share this information. And I'm super grateful that you've been here to do that. Again, if you're new, I would love for you to be a part of our community. So click that subscribe button and join us, and even that bell notification icon. Hey, I'm praying for you that you shoot straight. I hope you pray for me that I shoot straight. And until the next video, may God richly bless you.